baby, how was school today?
Mom, these kids at school kept making fun of me and they kept calling my hair nappy. Why, Mom?
Tootie, look, just read this book and it'll tell you everything you need to know.
There's another N-word we throw around in and out of the black community called nappy. We have taken that word like the other N-word, nigger, and made it a word of adornment. I have heard the word nappy my entire life, which was used to insult, degrade, and hurt someone. This word is a derogatory term that was used in our ancestors to insult them.
Available now.
I love myself.
Same tree, different brand.
I hope you love yourself, because love is only love when you love somebody else.
Claim your Africanness. I'm telling you, when you claim your Africanness, you're going to get your mind back, and you're going to get your intelligence back. I'll guarantee you. Education. And when they take responsibility in terms of their own Africanness and their own identity, when they don't spend all of their lives trying to escape from their Africanness, when they don't believe that to be called African is a curse. You see, when they don't run from their Africanness, but they run to it, and they embrace it, and they become a part of it. Let's see what happens to their learning when they decide and say out loud that I'm black and I'm proud, and that I'm African and I'm proud. And if individuals, society exists outside separate, that is logically impossible. And it's a stupidity that's perpetrated on the population, upon our people, and often leads to serious misunderstanding, both of ourselves and of our situation.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it may be for anybody out there in the chat, man. It's your boy Sean P in the place to be. We're about to get it in, so I need you to like the show. Okay, like the show, share the show. Tell a friend we're live. We're about to go all the way in. We ain't holding no punches, no grudges. Everybody know why we here. If you're unfamiliar with why we here, well, someone made a claim in the video, and I'm gonna play that claim, and we're gonna deal with it like G's. And I'm gonna get into it real methodically in my approach. And we're gonna be here for a while. So if you're at work and you working towards your lunch break, first break, you got a few hours to go, this the place to be. It's the place to be. I promise you. I am going to transition from where I am back to where I normally am momentarily. People using my office as a spot to interview, so I gotta respect that space right now while people are doing interviews. But let me go ahead, and if you're unfamiliar with why we here, let me go ahead and introduce you to why we here first. So this is what happened when you try to call me out. I'm minding my business. I ain't had to invest nothing. Y'all see the screen? Look who over here instigating. Patrick Gabriel, BAW. He meant BAP. Sean P going in on you, bro. Right? This is yesterday's show. Right? I'm going in on him, he said.
I need y'all to support the movement, man. I need y'all to support what's going on, man. We got to take this shit to a whole nother level, which we're going to continue. So shout out to y'all. I want to send my love to you guys and your family. For those that's listening, hope you're having a beautiful day, a productive day. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody that's in the building. Hey, Patrick Gab, we don't deal with weirdos like Sean Sissy P. We don't even want to debate him. He's not even in our echelon. He's not even in our echelon. We don't even want to debate him. He's not. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Hey, Patrick Gab, we don't deal with weirdos like Sean Sissy P. We don't even want to debate him. He's not even in our echelon. He's not even in our echelon. He's mid at best. You know what I'm saying? We don't smoke mids. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Hey, Patrick Gab, we don't deal with weirdos like Sean Sissy P. We don't even want to debate him. He's not even in our echelon. He's not even in our echelon. He's mid at best. You know what I'm saying? We don't smoke mids. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. So yeah, man, forget this.
Well, first of all, you asked me for a debate on the out of Africa theory. You asked for that. I didn't ask you for it. You asked me for it. Because you kept saying you want to take the debate. You want somebody to take the debate. I said, all right, okay, I'll take it. Then you ran from it because I asked you to do it right then and there, and you act like you weren't prepared. And then you had a whole lot of other things to actually say. So now I'm a sissy. Now I'm a sissy. You go on and call me a bitch and say everything else in the same video. Right? Because you niggas getting y'all shit pushed back and corrections is happening and y'all don't like being corrected. You just want to say the flamboyant things that you want to say, and then it is what it is. But for the listening audience, I'm going to show y'all why we here. I just wanted to put that on the screen. And I'm going to play it. No. Let me go back. Because y'all need to hear this shit.
Matter of fact, we're going to get into a little video of Lex Vortex destroying.
Hold on. Let me find it. I ain't timestamp it because I left the video.
On a molecular level. That match Albuquerque DNA. And we know that a lot of them people in Canada, they found 800.
Yeah, from Shalaka, Cameroon, one of the earliest known archaeologists.
Shout out to my brother Realize TV, man. Put your snipers, no snipers out, man. Blickies. You feel what I'm saying? I'll be forgetting to get y'all blickies. My bad. What we doing here? Let me get my sister Nikki the blicky. Live stream. Big Dog Philly OG, share it for me, big bro. When you go to a land and you take a, you know they about to get this work. Check it out. During the Pequot Wars. Crash, you know I can't show you or else. Where are all those Pequot? Have you read the Populist Manifesto? Have you read a Populist Manifesto? I read several things. I was talking to him though. Which year? No, it wasn't the spring. What? Hold on, y'all. Y'all arguing for no reason. Bill wasn't playing about that down south, so he wasn't bullshit. I don't know. I just heard the silly ass name, and I'm gonna sting that shit. And you sitting there talking like that. You heard? And let's get like 4 more people to support. He said, not a coincidence, promo. Yeah, I need to stop promoting your motherfucking channel, dog. Seriously.
Right. What I'm saying is, both sides are dismissive. What? How did the people that you claim that's on both sides of the continent, how did the niggas get here? They traveled here. From where? From
Understand what I'm saying? Then he just asked them the same question. Well, how the fuck the Africans?
Oh, my bad, y'all. I switched my internet up. When I switched my internet up, it kicked me out of StreamYard. So y'all missed everything. I'm gonna replay it real quick, and then I'm gonna get on to it. I want y'all to hear this nigga try to call me a bitch. Yeah, you gonna get this work today. I ain't got nothing but time, nigga. You gonna get this work. And it's gonna be very scholarly. Coward.
I didn't create no motherfucking pseudo argument. He made a claim. That is a pseudo argument.
That nigga Sean always whining like a bitch. That nigga be whining like a little sissy, dog. Like, that nigga is pathetic. Like, you can do some scholarship and debate, but you be acting like a bitch, dog. Straight up.
All right, so a couple of times I played two instances where he brings my name up and he says something behind my name, right? At the beginning of his show, and then right then and there. Remember, at first he said I couldn't debate or do it. He wouldn't debate me or anything like that. Then he says I can argue or do whatever I need to do, and then but I sound like a bitch. All right. So since we're doing that, I'm about to be the most annoying bitch to you. Because what you're doing is you're trying to separate Africans, descendants of Africans from Africa, and you've waged a war on Pan-Africanism. So I'm going to defend that full-fledged from an African perspective. I'm gonna let Nada C beat you up with the African American shit. I ain't even gonna participate in any of that. I'm gonna come from Africa with the shit, and I'm gonna shoot from the hip. Spears are flying.
Let me make sure we good. Let me see if we good. Need y'all to let me know. I'm gonna put them grizzly bears in the chat, man. All right, let me go to my audio. All right, we looking pretty good in the chat. Somebody said loud and clear. I am gonna take the time out to shout out everybody that's in the building though. But we looking light on the lights though. You know, we got a lot to talk about today. Aboriginal, civilized Africa. And so it's a few things we gotta talk about. And so it's a few things. Everybody that's in the building though. But we looking light on the lights though. You know, we got a lot to talk about today. Aboriginal, civilized Africa. And so it's a few things we gotta talk about. And so it's a few things we got. Everybody that's in the building though. But we looking light on the lights though. You know, we got a lot to talk about today. Aboriginal, civilized Africa. And so it's a few things we got to talk about. How many of you guys knew that the ancient Aboriginal Indigenous peoples of America civilized Africa and other parts of the world? But we're going to be talking about Great Mother Africa today. How many of you guys knew that? Okay. And so it's a few things we got to talk about. How many of you guys knew that the ancient Aboriginal Indigenous peoples of America civilized Africa?
The ancient Aboriginal Indigenous people of America civilized Africa. Well, first thing first, right? Let's deal with something real quick. It's going to be real scholarly. Real scholarly. All the sources in the description. All the sources in the description. Every single one. Real scholarly. Since I'm some mid, it's about to hit you like some OG, homie. This should be real crystal clear on y'all screens. If it's too big, let me know. If it's just right, let me know. So the first basic law of human stupidity asserts without ambiguity, that always and inevitably everyone underestimates the number of stupid individuals in circulation. Ambiguity. I know how to say the word. At first, the statement sounds trivial, vague, and horribly ungenerous. Closer scrutiny will, however, reveal its realistic veracity. No matter how high are one's estimates of human stupidity, one is repeatedly and recurrently startled by the fact that people whom one had once judged rational and intelligent turned out to be unashamedly stupid Day after day, with unceasing monotony, one is harassed in one's activities by stupid individuals who appear suddenly and unexpectedly in the most inconvenient places and at the most improbable moments. The first basic law prevents me from attributing a specific numerical value to the fraction of stupid people within the total population. Any numerical estimate would turn out to be an underestimate. Thus, in the following pages, we will denote the fraction of stupid people within a population by the symbol like a 0 point. Oh, y'all wasn't expecting that, huh? Let's continue on with this stupid people. Cultural trends now fashionable in the West favor an egalitarian approach of life. People like to think of human beings as the output of a perfectly engineered mass production machine. Geneticists and sociologists especially go out of their way to prove, with an impressive apparatus of scientific data and formulations, that all men are naturally equal. All men are naturally equal. And if some are more equal than others, this is attributable to nurture and not to nature. I take an exception to this general view. It is my firm conviction, supported by the years of observation and experimentation, that men are not equal, that some are stupid and others are not, and that the difference is determined by the nature and not by the cultural forces or factors. One is stupid in the same way one is red-haired. One belongs to the stupid set as one belongs to a blood group. A stupid man is born a stupid man by an act of providence. Although convinced that the fraction of human beings are stupid and that there are so because of genetic traits, I am not a reactionary trying to reintroduce surreptitiously class of race discrimination. I firmly believe that stupidity is an indiscriminate privilege of all human groups and is uninformably distributed according to a constant proportion. This fact is scientifically expressed by the second basic law, which states that the probability that a certain person be stupid is independent of any other characteristics of that person. What up, Danny? What up, Nodisi? What's good? What's good? Now, in this regard, nature seems indeed to have outdone herself. It is well known that nature manages rather mysteriously, right? To keep constant the relative frequency of certain natural phenomena. For instance, whether men proliferate at the northern pole or at the equator, whether the matching couples are developed or underdeveloped, whether they are black, red, white, or yellow, the female to male ratio among the newly born is a constant, with a very slight prevalence of males. We do not know how nature achieves this remarkable result, but we know that in order to achieve it, nature must operate with large numbers. The most remarkable fact about the frequency of stupidity is that nature succeeds in making this frequency equal to the probability quite independently from the size of the group. Thus, one finds the same percentage of stupid people, whether one is considering very large groups or one is dealing with very small ones. No other set of observable phenomena offers such striking proof of the powers of nature. The evidence that education has nothing to do with the probability was provided by experiments carried on in a large number of universities all over the world. One may distinguish the composite population, which constitutes a university, in 5 major groups, namely the blue-collar workers, the white-collar employees, the students, the administrators, and the professors. Whenever I analyzed the blue-collar workers, I found that the fraction of stupid people, right, the fraction symbol of them were stupid. As the fraction value was higher than I expected, first law, paying my tribute to fashion, I thought at first that segregation, poverty, lack of education were to blame. But moving up the social ladder, I found that the same ratio was prevalent among the white-collar employees, among the students. More impressive still were the results among the professor, whether I considered a large university or a small college, a famous institution or obscured one. I found that the same fraction of the professors are stupid. So bewildered was I by the results that I made a special point to extend my research to a specially selected group, to a real elite, the noble laureates. The result confirmed nature's supreme powers. Fraction of the noble laureates are stupid. This idea was hard to accept and digest, but too many experimental results proved its fundamental veracity. The second basic law is an iron law, and it does not admit exception. The women's liberation movement will support the second basic law, as it shows that stupid individuals are proportionately as numerous among men as among women. The underdeveloped of the third world will probably take solace at the second basic law, as they can find in it the proof that, after all, the developed are not so developed. Whether the second basic law is liked or not, however, its implications are frightening. The law implies that whether you move in distinguished circles or you take refuge among the headhunters of Polynesia, whether you lock yourself into a monastery or decide to spend the rest of your life in the company of beautiful and lascivious women, you always have to face the same percentage of stupid people, which percentage, in accordance with the first law, will always surpass your expectation. I will come back to the stupid people in just a moment. I wanted to bring this to your attention as we proceed forward in regard to the stupid people. So, again, I am going to play the clip, the famous clip. We're going to make this clip fucking famous. Remember, I'm silly. I'm a bitch. Or I sound like a bitch. I'm all of these names, right? I'm mid. I'm all of these names. But you wanted to smoke, my guy. Right? You big badass Aboriginal power. BAP. You think you got scholarship.
And so it's a few things we got to talk about. How many of you guys knew that the ancient Aboriginal indigenous peoples of America civilized Africa and other parts of the world? But we're going to be talking about great mother Africa today. How many of you guys knew that? Okay.
One more time.
Okay. Let me make sure we good. Let me make sure we good.
Yeah, make sure you're good, nigga.
Let me see if we good. Need y'all to let me know. Put them grizzly bears in the chat, man. All right, let me go to my audio. All right, we looking pretty good in the chat. Somebody said loud and clear. I am going to take the time out to shout out everybody that's in the building, though. But we looking light on the lights, though. You know, we got a lot to talk about today. Aboriginal civilized Africa. And so it's a few things we got to talk about. How many of you guys knew that The ancient Aboriginal Indigenous peoples of America civilized Africa and other parts of the world, but we're gonna be talking about Great Mother Africa today. How many of you guys knew that?
All right. So we heard the claim again. We clearly defined that there's a certain percentage and an amount of stupid people that exist. We know of this. So now I got to share my entire screen again, and we're going to go somewhere else. Before we do that, though, I need to grab a source. I'm back where I need to be. I don't know if y'all can see this. Oh, there you go. Africa History by Basil Davidson. Right? Get the little book right here. Remember, he said that the ancient, he put ancient on these motherfuckers. Ancient Black, Indigenous, Aboriginal people of America civilized Africa. That's his claim. He said it. But he said, I'm silly. I sound like a bitch. That way he said it. So now he got to get this work. He got to get this work. Hold on, let me find my next. Yeah, here we go. I had to bring up my next source because I want to talk about something. I need to get all of this understood before I move forward in my bill. Let me remove my thumbnail. Hide the sidebar. Let me zoom in. All my sources are in the description. This is the name of this book that you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is called The Skeptic Encyclopedia of Pseudoscience. It's a 2-volume set. It's a lot of pages, right? Now, why am I saying this to you? Because he said that the ancient Indigenous, Black, Aboriginal people of America civilized Africa. So I want to bring you to, there's a couple of things in this pseudoscientific book, the Encyclopedia of a Skeptic, this book. I need to bring it to you. But one, I want to go ahead and knock out the way because it's dealing with alternative archaeology, right? And in order, now you can see it a little bit better, but in order for him to make a claim like that and to be able to argue that, he is going to be using alternative archaeology. That means he's got to find ships, natural resources. He's got to find tools. He's got to find a writing system, a writing script, an alphabet. He's got to find hominids, speaking before any other hominids. That is a tool, right? He's got to find archaeology that supersedes any archaeological digs or sites. He's got to find every field of science that's involved in that. He's got to do that. He's got to find a culture that's in the Americas that's older than any culture on the continent of Africa. He has to do that. And in order to do that, alternative archaeology is going to be one of those key emphases. So I'm not going to give you the whole thing. I'm just going to give you a little piece because, like I said, I got time today. I got time. Truth said, he said, silver eyes, not civilized. The term alternative archaeology or pseudo-archaeology is used to denote various approaches to investigating the ancient past using paranormal methods and or pseudoscientific standards of argument. I need you to understand this clearly, ladies and gentlemen. The term alternative archaeology or pseudo-archaeology is used to denote various approaches to investigating the ancient past using paranormal methods and or pseudoscientific standards of argument. The genre has been around at least since the late 19th century, appearing in the wake of real archaeology's great achievements at that time, although its roots can be traced back further into the lure of such movements as Freemasonry and Rosicrucianism. Its practitioners stand apart from archaeologists, whom they derived, in that they argue for an essentially simplistic picture of antiquity populated with such wonders as lost super civilizations, sunken continents. Listen to me closely, ladies and gentlemen, because what I am saying right here, what the author is displaying right here, is the shit that we're dealing with when I replay this clip. Its practitioners stand apart from archaeologists, whom they deride in that they argue for an essentially simplistic picture of antiquity populated with such wonders as lost civilizations. What do you hear from certain people when they talk about shit? They always be like, well, this is the lost civilization, sound like some Hebrew shit. Sunken continents. Do we all know which sunken continent they always want to bring up and say? It starts with an A. Cyclical cataclysmic upheavals, extraterrestrial civilizers, or physically attuned priestly ruling elites. Alternative authors can also claim to have uncovered hints of heretofore lost ancient wisdom. What dude be saying on his show? See, everything that I just said right there in that paragraph, in that centerpiece, even from the beginning all the way to where we are right now, we ain't even get out of the first paragraph in full. I have already described Aboriginal power. I've already described them. So again, alternative authors can also claim to have uncovered hints of heretofore lost ancient wisdom that in its pessimistic form warns of dire catastrophic threatening humanity, or in a more cheerful manifestation promising worldwide spiritual renewal. Alternative writers usually have no qualifications in the field of archaeology. That's why someone like Truth Seeker can say that he walked past a rock and seen the Olmec head. Yet they claim to be revolutionaries. Remember, this Aboriginal movement is this new movement, and it's about to take over, and they uncovered so much history that they've been hiding from us. Remember? Listen to it. Yet they claim to be revolutionaries who will transform our view of the deep past. Everything that I am saying applies to Aboriginal power and other people, but my focus today is the dude who said I sound like a bitch, that I'm a sissy. They spurn the broadly scientific method by which real archaeology has painstakingly built up a picture of the past, namely the rational analysis of associated artifacts of whatever size and nature found and studied in clearly defined and repeated contexts. Instead, the alternative camp relies on a variety of dubious methods, which will be outlined, in support of its contentions. In such works, the mode of argument is often legalistic and associative, with an abundance of rhetorical questions. Every time we have a conversation with them, there's rhetorical questions and an innuendo, rather than scholarly and probative, that is, mounting a sustained and coherent argument based on verifiable data. We never get that. Upon such weak foundations, alternative archaeologists confidently raise their towering, yet by no means mutually consistent edifices of fantastic possibility. Let me see if the stupid people is back on the screen. Nope. Stupid people not back on the screen. Screen look crazy. Let me stop sharing. Let me bring back up stupid people. I need to continue. Trust me, I'm gonna get to I'm gonna get to everything I need to get to. I'm gonna get to everything I need to get to. Just hold on one second. Come on, y'all. Like the show, share the show, tell a friend we is here. Again, the name of that book is The Skeptic Encyclopedia of Pseudoscience. Skeptic Encyclopedia of Pseudoscience. All right, so you should be able to see, you should be able to see it now on the screen. Man, that was tough. Let me zoom in. Good on the eyes. All right, so I'm painting a picture of what we're dealing with here. Now, so at this point, it is imperative to elucidate the concept of human stupidity and to define the dramatist persona. Individuals are characterized by different degrees of propensity to socialize. There are individuals for whom any contact with other individuals is a painful necessity. They literally have to put up with people and people have to put up with them. At the other extreme of the spectrum, there are individuals who absolutely cannot live by themselves and are even ready to spend time in the company of people whom they do not really like rather than to be alone. Between these two extremes, there's an extreme variety of conditions, although by far the greatest majority of the people are closer to the type who cannot face loneliness than to the type who has no taste for human intercourse. Aristotle recognized this fact when he wrote that man is a social animal, and the validity of his statement is demonstrated by the fact that we move in social groups, that there are more married people than bachelors, and spinsters, that so much wealth and time is wasted in fatiguing and boring cocktail parties, and that the word loneliness carries normally a negative connotation. Deals with people, although with different intensity. Even the hermits occasionally meet people. Moreover, one affects human beings also by avoiding them. What I could have done for an individual or a group, but it did not do, is an opportunity cost, i.e. a loss, gain, or loss for that particular person or group. The moral of the story is that each one of us has a current balance with everybody else. From action or inaction, each one of us derives a gain or loss, and at the same time, one causes a gain or loss to someone else. Gains and losses can be conveniently charted on a graph, and figure 1 shows the basic graph to be used for the purpose. The graph refers to an individual, let us say Tom, The x-axis measures the gain that Tom derives from the actions. On the y-axis, the graph shows the gain that another person or a group person derived from Tom's actions. Gains can be positive, nil, or negative. A negative gain being actually a loss. The x-axis measures Tom's positive gains to the right of the O and Tom losses to the left of the O. The y-axis measures the gains and losses from the person or persons with Tom, whom Tom dealt respectively above and below point. To make all this clear, let us make a hypothetical example and refer to figure 1. Tom takes, and I ain't gonna get into figure 1, but this is the figure 1 that they're showing you here. All right. Tom takes action which affects Dick. If Tom derives from the actions a gain and Dick suffers from the same actions a loss, the action will be recorded on the graph with a dot, which will appear in the graph B somewhere in area B, because this is Tom's gain, and this will be the dot. All right. Now, gains and losses may be recorded on the X and the Y axis in dollars or francs. If one wants to be one who has to include a psychological and emotional rewards and satisfactions, as well as psychological and emotional stresses, these are intangibles and they are very difficult to measure according to the object standards. Let me stop. Without losing any of y'all, I am simply saying this. I know that I am taking a loss by entertaining an idiot. But I am willing to take the loss to give you the positive gain so that you will know how to spot a pseudo, his bullshit, his ways, and his propaganda, and his belittling of not only Pan-Africanism, but the African presence in America, and the fact that he is also, too, a descendant of Africans. More specifically, West Africans. So now that we have moving a little bit further in our whole shenanigans about stupid people and also about pseudo-archaeologists, right? Let's deal with his argument the best way we know how. Okay, so I'm going to keep it simple. I want to start at Wiki. And I don't want to go beyond Wiki. I want to stay right here. Wiki. African empires. A whole damn article on African empires. All they can say, oh, you can change Wiki. You can do all of that. Okay, so let's see. Ladies and gentlemen. You'll need to create an account or log in to do any of that. Who has a Wiki account that we can log into to see if we can edit any of this shit? You are not logged in. Your IP address will be publicly, blah, 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 blah. Welcome to Wikipedia. Anyone can edit and improvement helps. Thank you for having. Boom, let's go. Once I make any change to this, this is submitted. It is submitted for review and then it's rejected. They tell you that you could do this shit, but then they're going to turn right back around and reject whatever you change. Because you can't change the shit. You do not have the credentials or the right type. Just leave it at credentials to do this shit. Why you think our Mossi warrior clan Wikipedia page has been removed? Remember, we had a whole Wikipedia page. They removed all our shit. The whole page is gone. It no longer exists. And we were the only ones with the credentials to go in there and make those changes. Now, African empires is an umbrella term used in African studies to refer to a number of pre-colonial African kingdoms in Africa with multinational structures incorporating various populations and polities into a single entity, usually through conquest. Listed below are known African empires that respectively capital cities. The Wabongo Kingdom with its capital in Bakongo in the Lobea region, Southwest Central African Republic. So historical development, the Sahelian kingdoms, right? So the Sahelian kingdoms were a series of medieval empires centered on the Sahel, the area of grassland south of Sahara. So you got Ghana Empire, Wagadu. the Songhai Empire. You got Senegal, Mauritania, right? The Almoravids, the Susu, Mali, Niger. You got all this going on. Cameroon, Maghreb, Lake Chad, Canaan, Barnu, Hausa, Sokoto, Salif, Senegal, the Jollof Empire, the Jollof Kingdom, right? We ain't got to go too far. You got empires from the 15th to the 19th century. This is during the scramble for Africa. You got all these West African kingdoms. The kingdom of Dagbon, the kingdom of Neri, the Oyo Empire, Benin Empire, the Kabu Empire, the Aero Confederacy, the Bonama, the Jabokpo Dynasty, the kingdom of Weme, the Ashanti Empire, the Kong Empire, the Bamana Empire, Sokoto Caliph, the Wasalu Empire, the Akwa Akpa Empire, Kingdom. You got the Efe Empire, Central Africa, the Congo Kingdom, Lubi Empire, Londe Empire. You have the Central African Empire. Let's go to the history of South Africa. What we got down there, we got the Zulu, Maravi, the Kingdom of Mapungwe, the Rosvi Empire, Tore Empire, and the Khoisan Empire. East Africa, you got the Kateri Empire, the Bugande Kingdom, the Swahili states, the Wangba Kingdom. All right, the Horn of Africa. You got the land of peanuts, the Barbara, the Opene, or the Exfon, the Mundus, the Mousseline, Maleo, the Nakin, the Serapion, the Askium, Bazin, Belgium, Jareen, Kita'a, Nagash, Tankish, Mogadishu, and the Ethiopian Empire, Zangwe, Solomone, Sultanate, Ezek, Ejerun, Adil, Sultanate of Harar, the Emirate of Harar, the Sultanate of Gelede, the Majoratine, the Asusa, the Gomo, Jeme, Guma, Hobeo, and Dervish state. North Africa, you already know. Kerma, Egypt, Kush, Nobitia, Makuri, Alodi, Carthage, Numidia, and then you got the ones of the Islamic North. And I ain't even really got to get into that. My point is, right, you have all of these kingdoms, all of these empires, all of these things that I just ran from north, south, east, west at our disposal. But some so-called stupid person by the name of Ab Power states that some indigenous black, ancient indigenous black Aboriginal people of America civilized Africa. All of these different kingdoms, all of these different empires, all over the continent, you're going to tell me as many times as America, the United States of America, if you carve it out in between Canada and Central and put it in Africa, it'll be in Africa like 10 times over. So you're telling me there's some people that come in and civilize all of those empires and kingdoms. You're full of shit. I don't want to talk about what they've accomplished or anything like that, but I want to go into West Africa, right? I want to go into West Africa. So I'm going to give you an A-level ebook. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen, right? Dealing with African kingdoms, a guide to the kingdoms of the Songhai, Congo, Benin, Oyo, and Dahomey. Now, one of the reasons that I don't want to go into Basil Davidson's book is because I do not have a PDF copy and I cannot share my screen to get into the Rift Valley Kingdoms, Zimbabwe. I can't be more specific, right? I can't get into Mali, Canaan, Borno. I can't share what I want to share with you about those, all the other kingdoms, but I have source material that I could refer to and elaborate on. But anyway, this book's by Toby Green. Again, it's only 49 pages. This is version 1. Yes, you are welcome. But before we get into that, right? Before we get into that, we want to make sure that we heard this mofo correct.
In the chat, man. All right, let me go to my audio. All right, we looking pretty good in the chat. Somebody said loud and clear. I am going to take the time out to shout out everybody that's in the building, though. But we looking light on the lights, though. You know, we got a lot to talk about today. Aboriginal, civilized Africa. And so it's a few things we got to talk about. How many of you guys knew that the ancient Aboriginal indigenous peoples of America civilized Africa and other parts of the world? But we're going to be talking about Great Mother Africa today. How many of you guys knew that? Okay. Okay, I need y'all to let me know. I'm just waiting on y'all to drop those fire emojis. I need y'all to drop those fire emojis. You know.
All right, so you heard them loud and clear. So real quick, without boring everybody to death, I know I've been doing a lot of reading, but I have sources that I need to refer to make sure that I am properly edifying everybody and we clearly understand who I was referring to when I brought up the whole book on stupid people. Influences of West African kingdoms in the world. In the end, one of the most important reasons to study pre-colonial West African kingdoms is that there were key and largely forgotten agents in the construction of so much of modern societies, beyond their importance in their own right and the way in which thinking about West African history helps us to think about history more broadly. Much of what is taken for granted about modernity originated here. When they say that, they say West Africa, modernity. So let's go. Thinking back to the works of art, we have already discussed in the introduction of Benin and Sierra Leone, which I didn't go over, but when we talk about West Africa, they love to talk about West African art. All throughout each, from Nigeria to Benin to Togo to Ghana, from Senegal to Gambia to Cameroon, right? Even in the Congo regions. I mean, goshly, they love African art. But the leading figures in the Cubist style developed before the First World War in France, such as Georges Braque and Pablo Picasso, were greatly influenced by the new finds in African art, such as in the Benin bronzes. I'm going to run that back. These famous artists were influenced by West African art. Picasso, Braque. It was West African art which influenced them. So which ancient Black, indigenous, Aboriginal person in America came to West Africa and showed them how to do all of this shit? What's that person's name or people's name that would influence their creative genius, right? In helping them develop their culture, their artistic, express themselves artistically, linguistically, and architecturally and otherwise. But let me continue. The Cubists borrowed or stole the African approach to form and figure. So these people stole from Africa or borrowed. The African approach to form and figure, and from there sprang modern art's move away from strict representation as its aim. Figures such as Marcel Duchamp and Andy Warhol moved from there to bringing in manufactured art, objects, urinals and soup cans. So they stole urinals from West Africa? As works of art, but the incorporation of manufactured objects into artistic constructions, especially at religious shrines, was something that West African artists on the continent and in the diaspora had long practiced. The case of music is no less important. A generation of musicologists such as Theodore Coulon and Daniel Jota have now shown comprehensively that the origins of blues music lie in the Senegambian region among instruments such as the akating and the ngoni. These instruments gave rise to the banjo and blues, then defined the key aspects of both culture of the American South and the emergence of styles such as bossa nova in Brazil. Wait a minute. If the ancient indigenous, aboriginal, black people of America civilized Africa, how in the world did we give you blues? We just gonna keep it right there. Because remember, y'all supposed to be civilizing us and teaching us. So how could we teach you? That's right. That's right. Ain't that what he be saying in his chat? Drop them fire emojis. Drop them fire emojis for your boy. If you like this information, drop the fire emojis. Get your arrows up. Shoot your arrows. Throw your spears. If you got the spear emoji, put the spear emoji in the chat for your boy Sean P. Drop them fire emojis in the spear emojis for your boy Sean P. We in West Africa with it, baby. Now, the origins of much modern music therefore lie in the social structures and instruments developed in West Africa long before the slave trade to the New World began. Many other examples could be cited, but all of this is just to give you a flavor of numerous importance of understanding West Africans' history and their place in the formation of the modern world. For a long time, students of history in the West thought that little could be found out about the African past, but that this did not matter as it was a little relevance. This course challenges that view and will hopefully stimulate all students to think about what we can really know about the past and why the past matters. We're fighting for the hearts and mind of our African American brothers and sisters who have waged war on Africa and Pan-Africanism, and stealing the identity of the indigenous, Paleo-Indian, Native, Amerindian culture that precedes them. So real quick, I ain't got to get into it. You heard me name all the empires before, but here's one, the Songhai Empire. The history of the Songhai can be representative of growth and importance of West African kingdoms during the pre-colonial period, touching regions as distinct as the Gold Coast in the south and Cairo, Mecca, and Spain in the north. The influences and connections of Songhai show how early parts of West Africa were placed within the global links through trade and cultural reciprocities. Songhai was, however, the last of the great Sahelian empires that rose initially in the 10th century in the region of what is now Mauritania. I ain't got to get into all of that. I don't want to get into all of that, right? Because he the one who has to prove his claim. So all I'm doing is I'm putting the information in front of him. I dare you, Aboriginal power. BAP. I dare you to challenge this information and everything presented today. I dare you replay this video on your channel. I dare you. Since I'm a bitch, since I'm silly, since I'm just a mid, I ain't really got no scholarship, I dare you. You can't prove what you claimed because you just stupid. You're a stupid person. You're one of those fractions of stupid people in the world. And you can't help yourself but to wake up and be even more stupider than you was yesterday. Mm-mm. I ain't got to get into all of that. I just wanted to introduce some of this to you, ladies and gentlemen. Just some of it, right? But let me move on a little bit more. So I want to take y'all to Stanford Library. When you have time, right? Because I am mounting my argument against stupidity. When you have time, check it out. The link is in the description. Africa, the cradle of human diversity, cultural and biological approaches to uncover Africans' diversity, right? Free, open access book. You're welcome. African indigenous knowledge systems. Remember, he made the claim that ancient indigenous ancient black indigenous aboriginal peoples of America, civilized Africa. So with this whole resource for you, look what it's dealing with: kingdoms and ancient civilizations. And it's going to give you indigenous knowledge systems, African Mathematical Union commissions on the history of mathematics in Africa. We taking his claim away from him. African timelines, Afrique oral archives and Norse and resources documentaries. That's some French shit. You ain't gonna be able to read that. Ancient African lesson plans and activities. Oh, so you could wise up a little bit. Anonymous classics, African literature, epics, and assimilated. Anti-Slavery International, of course, the Ashanti Kingdom, Ashanti Today, the Ashanti homepage, BBC Lost Kingdoms of Africa. Yeah, we get access to all this shit. Artifact maps, how to write about Africa, ancient to medieval history, all of this. Guess what? This source provides more sources and goes a long way. The Timbuktu manuscripts and all of that. It's a lot of information right here that he has to challenge, that he has to refute, because he made the claim. So I wanted to lay a few things down on y'all, and then I want to get back to my good old other resources, my books. So I'm not going to bring up the basic laws of stupidity, but I need to come back to the archaeology book. And there's a reason that I got to come back to the archaeology book. Let me find what I'm looking for first, and then I'll do it in volume 1. We just went over alternative archaeology. He ain't said nothing about astronomy. He did, but I don't want to pounce on that right now. Actually, I can. But I ain't gonna do that. 158. And what was the other one? I can do 158. Let's do 158. All right, I'm gonna put it on the screen. So Just hold on 1 second, y'all. I need to get to this. Oh yeah, I got some places to go. But what I'm doing is I'm methodically dealing with this the way I need to deal with this. I know some of y'all might be like, man, what? But y'all can walk through with me with this. I'm a single page it in a second. But this is all the shit the pseudos deal with. It's a whole book dedicated to pseudoscience. If you've never heard of it before, I'm gonna give it to you again. I should have went here with it and deal with cults, but I don't want to do that. Actually, let's take a shortcut. Let's deal with it. Some of it, not all of it, because that's what Aboriginal Powers is trying to create, his own cult. Him and A1. What up, sis? Lima in the building. Sister Lima in the building. So, real quick, ever since the Bronze Age, charismatic leaders, which he's not charismatic at all, that have sought for their own selfish desires to control people drawn to them, psychological and physical cohesion, have been used by those who would compel the will of others, but always in the gist of beneficial, masking the actual beliefs and the goal of the group and a common to almost all cults. This is an insidious and deliberate use of deception. The details of cults' belief systems are revealed to recruits only in stages, which is a move calculated to draw them in step by step, without scaring them off early on. In contrast, mainstream belief systems are upfront with their principles and make no attempt to conceal them. Cult leaders commonly seek to eradicate their members' ability to think critically and make life decisions. I want you to think about that. This man said that the ancient Indigenous Black Aboriginal people of America civilized Africa. You would have to be a complete fool. Even though I know there's a level of stupid people that exist in this world. We just went through the stupid people book. We understand that. We understand this. There are stupid people among us. Even still, you have to have some decency to be able to be like, but hold on. How could that have happened? When we telling the whole world that the slave trade never happened, that we've been in the Americas and yada 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 yada. You even had this fool. Hold on. Before we go further with the cult shit, I gotta stop. Yo, what the fuck? I'm trying. I need to paint this picture very, very clear for everybody. Now I'm gonna have to I would subscribe on this one. I'm gonna have to share my screen, take this off, reshare, put y'all up on game on this other level. Y'all already know I'm at. I'm at Odyssey Show, and I want y'all to hear this.
African people and Native Americans the right to vote or stop taxing them. In 1783, they got that right. So in 1790, he pops up on the census as a.
Nothing is
I'm
absolute.
telling you,
99
comes out, the only people gonna be looking crazy is Pan-African
people and Native Americans
Watch this.
The right to vote or stop taxing them. In 1783, they got that right. So in 1790, he pops up on the census as a person, a free person. Doesn't have to be white. Like Amani Bey, like, why are you leaving this out? Also, in this petition that him and his brother put together, they go on to say that we, being chiefly of the African extract, mostly, and by reason of long bondage and hard slavery, I thought slavery didn't happen, we have been deprived of enjoying the profits of our labor or the advantages of inheriting estates from our parents. They're not able to enjoy inherited wealth.
What's good, everyone? It's early, but I ain't gonna keep you waiting. What's good?
Hey, look, man. Hey, look, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. You and some of these other Indians that keep my name in their mouth, play around with me like I'm some type of joker. Early this year, man, you had a debate. You lost the debate. Now you just go on some type of crusade every day, like putting my name in your title. I don't even care if you put I don't even give a fuck. What we standing on is truth, not a coincidence. And see, you know what the thing of the whole thing is going to be? This shit, you might not believe what we saying and believe how the evidence corresponds, but when this shit really come out, the only people going to be looking crazy is y'all niggas, because it's going to come out. It's going to come out, and it's going to be official when it do come out. And y'all, every time somebody do a bill, no matter what evidence people show, we show you pictures of Negroes here. You are in denial mode, brother. And it's like, you working for somebody, my dude. Because can't nobody be. I'm keeping it. Hey, look, real talk, not a coincidence. I'm not going to disrespect you. Because me.
Yeah, look, you see, I'm letting you talk. I ain't disrespecting you, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to disrespect you. Because me and you, regardless if we agree to disagree, you do it on your own terms. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just telling you, bro. This shit is going to come out, bro. And when it comes out, the only people going to be looking crazy is Pan-Africans, brother. It's going to come out. It's going to come out that it was Negroes all through the Americas, bro. And only thing you reading is from after or post Reconstruction when they rewrote us out of our own history and wrote us into history as slaves and sloughs.
So again, a claim is made. He said that when it comes out, the Pan-Africans are going to be wrong. And the reason that they're going to be wrong is because information is going to come out to prove that we always been here and that they rewrote us into history during the Reconstruction era, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to him. And then I'm going to go back to what I was just reading, and you tell me if that does not describe these dudes.
Primitive people. But this is the furthest thing from the truth. So it's like, yo, you could keep going on your campaign, bro.
All right, but listen, I'll let you talk. Don't go nowhere, bro. I'll let you talk. I ain't cut you off. Don't run. Don't run.
Listen,
no. I'm talking about right off the panel. Hold on. Let me say something.
I got a lot of look. I got a lot of research.
Come on, bro.
I just want to say
I got you. Let's have a conversation. I'll let you talk. Let me say something.
All right, go ahead.
Right? I didn't interrupt you. Right now, we start off good. We don't gotta even take it. So you saying that we're gonna find out one day, right? We're gonna find out that we was wrong. Listen, I'm ready to find out today I'm wrong. Prove to me I'm wrong. All we ask is for the evidence. And hold on.
If I haven't been showing you real talk,
bro. Hold on, real quick. I didn't cut you off. Let me just get my 30 seconds off. Now, y'all keep saying y'all showing evidence, but it's not. Y'all have no it's like y'all have no level of being able to discern what is good evidence and what is just some shit that y'all just stumbled across and y'all misinterpreted. Like you try to say DNA is fake, which is not true.
Brother,
no way,
DNA
no how.
Yes. So DNA, yes. You telling, hold up. So you're telling me that DNA is 100% absolute?
Nothing is
I'm
absolute.
telling you,
It's 99.99%.
Nah, brother.
Yes.
No, it's not. No, it's
Yes,
not.
it is.
It's not even. It's 99.
Look, I showed you. I showed you.
Hold up,
I
hold
showed
up.
you what it is.
Brother,
They,
listen,
like for
listen.
ancestry
Not a
test.
coincidence. Not a coincidence.
Not every marker they test is 99%
Not a
accurate. Bro.
coincidence. Listen to me, brother, please. Okay, eugenics are the ones who created the Human Genome Project. The Human Genome Project is what.
No,
no.
That's not true.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's not true. No, it's not, bro.
That's a
well,
fact.
look. So hold on, real quick.
And
So
eugenics created.
I'm gonna say this one last thing. No, eugenics created DNA, brother. All of the
eugenics
created.
blood.
I'm about to do another Listen, I'm about to do another expose on this, brother. All of the DNA companies are owned by Jews or Germans. All of the eugenicists was either Jews or Germans, brother. All of them.
They created blood quantum.
No, they created
not
this shit, brother. They own. Listen, brother. They own all of the DNA companies. So they don't own all the DNA. Do you want me to pull up? Do you want me to pull up right now? Listen, all the DNA companies.
So who owns African ancestry?
They do.
Thank you.
No, they don't.
Okay. I bet you they do.
Prove it.
Do the research.
Prove it. No, it's your claim.
I give you $1,000. No, I give you $1,000 right now. Prove it. Send me your cash app and give you $1,000 right now. Any claim you make, I'm gonna pay you $1,000 for every claim you can prove.
I don't want your money, brother.
Every claim you can prove today, right now, I'm gonna pay you $1,000. Every claim.
Money talk. What's up, bro?
Just post your cash app. I'm gonna pay you $1,000 for every claim you can prove. You're on mute.
No, I ain't going. I'm about to pull it up. I'm about to pull it up. Y'all don't know who. Y'all don't know what the y'all being taught by eugenics, bro.
All right, so let's stop real quick. So I asked him to pull it up. He said that he was going to pull it up. So what I want to do is give you 19 facts about African ancestry, but I'm only going to deal with 2. AfricanAncestry.com was founded in 2003 by Dr. Rick Kittles and Dr. Regina Page. We are the first genetic ancestry tracing company that is 100% Black owned. He was never going to win the $1,000. Hence the reason why he dipped out. I'm a little sidetracked because I'm dealing with but both of these dudes is the same. They cult leaders. I'm getting off point, but I really wanted to deal with that because I wanted to show you the behavior and the mannerisms of a fucking cult. And now you, since I sound like a bitch and I'm a silly ass nigga and all of that shit you was popping off on your channel about me, you gotta deal with me now. You gotta deal with me now. Right? So now you have to refute the evidence that I provide every step of the way, every time that you make a fumble. And like I said, I'm gonna do it from the African side. Science and African side. I'm gonna let Nada C beat you up with the history, the African American history. I ain't even gonna get into that. So let me go ahead and kill your whole eugenics bullshit. Oh, you thought I wasn't prepared to play the game, my nigga? Is you niggas silly? I was driving in a car like this nigga. Of course I'm gonna bet him 1,000. Eugenics is an immoral and pseudoscientific theory that claims it is possible to perfect people and groups through genetics and the scientific laws of inheritance. Eugenicists use an incorrect and prejudiced understanding of the work of Charles Darwin and Gregor Mendel to support the idea of racial improvements. In their quest for perfect society, eugenicists labeled many people as unfit, including ethnic and religious minority people and disabilities with urban poor and LGBTQ individuals. Discussions of eugenics began in the late 19th century in England, then spread to other countries, including the United States. Most industrialized countries had organizations devoted to promoting eugenics by the end of World War I to better understand and protect protect against current and future discriminatory trends that misuse genetics. What do? Misuse genetics. One more time, Sean. What the fuck do eugenics do? Misuse genetics. And through its associations, genomics, this timeline highlights key moments in the development of eugenics with the focus on the American eugenics movement. I ain't got to read all of this, but it's right here on the screen. These people misuse genetics. So how could, right, eugenics create genetics? So let's see. Let's deal with the other side of that, right? Let's go to the history of DNA. Who do we attribute this shit to? Dun, dun, dun. Just get a man a shout out. The men. What we know about DNA today can largely be credited to James Watson and Francis Crick, who discovered the structure of DNA in 1953. When was eugenics created? 1883. So you're telling me that in 1883, they were already talking about the genome, mapping the genome and the whole shebang bang? Are you telling me that Francis Crick and James Watson are eugenics? Let's go a little bit further, right? Let's double down. And let's go to the history of genetics. Now that we're here. The history of genetics dates from the classical era with contributions by Pythagoras, Hippocrates, Aristotle, Epicurus, and others. Modern genetics began the work of Augustin Freer, Gregor Johann Mendel. His work on the pea plants, published in 1866, provided the initial evidence that on its rediscovery in 1900 helped to establish the theory of Mendelian inheritance. Let's go down just a little bit. After the rediscovery of Mendel's work, there was a feud between William Bateson Pearson over the hereditary mechanism solved by Ronald Fisher in his work, the correlation between relatives of the supposition of Mendelian inheritance. So, in 1910, Thomas Hunt Morgan showed that genes reside on specific chromosomes. He later showed that genes occupy specific locations on the chromosomes. With this knowledge, Alfred Sturtevant, a member of Morgan's family's fly room using Drosophila melanogaster, provided the first chromosomal map of any biological organism. In 1928, Frederick Griffith showed that the genes could be transferred in what is now known as the Griffith's experiment. Injections into a mouse of a deadly strain of bacteria that had been heat killed transferred genetic information to a safe strain of the same bacteria, killing the mouse. A series of subsequent discoveries led to the realization decades later that the genetic material is made of DNA and not, as widely believed until then, of proteins. I ain't gotta go no further. So we got him out of there real quick, right? His two little claims he made are not a coincidence, and I'm talking about A1. His two little claims he made over there was not good enough. It was not. So let me get back to the path that I was on my way to before we stop. Due to the large variety of cultic organizations, there is no simple method to determine whether a particular group can be defined as a cult. One must evaluate both the group's belief structure and its behavior in order to determine if it adheres to the hallmarks. Hold on. I have to take the little sign off. Ooh. To the hallmarks, of a cult. Robert Lifton defined 5 tried and true methods destructive groups use to ensnare their flocks and to keep them corralled. Let me make it bigger for me. Boom. Totalism, environmental control, loading the language, demand for purity, and mystical leadership. Those are 5. Totalism is an us against them philosophy. What do the abos always start arguments off with? Us versus Pan-Africanisms. So this is an us against them philosophy. Environmental control. Everything that prospective recruits see, eat, and do in their waking hours is carefully manipulated. When we argue with them about certain foods and things of that nature, they say that they come from the Americas. They're not African in origin. As a matter of fact, they provided these resources to Africa. That's their argument. So they do some of these things, and all these things that are African in origin, they correlated to indigenous to the Americas. Loading the language. Listen. The jargon of the cult features quick and easy phrases and statements that only have meaning to the cultists. Such jargon encourages isolationism and psychological cloning. So if we're in an argument with them, they say certain shit that we've now picked up on, which denotes negative things toward us, right? And or adjacent arguments, regurgitated arguments. They be loading the language. Demand for purity. So here we go. All actions are judged by the culture's definition of purity, which is crafted by the leaders to suit their needs. Such definitions are applied in an absolute black and white manner. Anything is acceptable in the pursuit of this purity. Mystical leadership. The cult leader endows him or herself with a mystical mantle, often supposedly as an agent of divine powers of the earth. Confessions to the denunciation by the leader are ingrained. The victim acquires a pawn-like attitude wherein devotion and obedience to the leader supersedes standards of morality or self-preservation. Not a coincidence, says right. Psychological cloning. That is them, bro. This clearly shows you that the entire Aboriginal movement is a cult. Now, I don't want to get into how they're created and so on and so forth, but I need to get to page 159 because I need to outline something real quick. And I'm just going down right here. I'm doing it this way because I need y'all to see how deep this book goes and the subject matters it's dealing with. This is every pseudo-scientific thing out there. It's an encyclopedia for this madness. Naturalism is in here. All of that Chinese bullshit. Hindu bullshit. Rosicrucian. Y'all thinking everything come from one source? Look at that. Magnetism. Look at that. Meditation. Mm-hmm. I know y'all don't want to hear about that. I'm sorry. I'm almost to my page. I got 2 pages left. Here we go. On my page. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm here. I'm on my page. Observer effects and observer bias. So real quick, fundamental to the skeptical outlook is a simple and familiar idea. We can and do with ourselves, even if our conclusions are based on direct observation. We may still distort our observations so that they lead us to form or maintain conclusions that are simply wrong. Like Shy One just put in the chat, he was driving down the interstate and he think he's seen an Olmec head, right? Well, when Truth Seeker said what he said he was the only one to find it on this trail. I'm trying to run y'all through some of the shit that they said in the past week. Their observations are still distorted and their conclusions are simply wrong. There are many ways this happens, but 2 in particular occur so often that they relate special treatment. And this article is devoted to them. First, we may distort what happens, the problem of the observer effect. Second, we may distort how we see it happening, the problem of observer bias. To better understand what these ideas mean, consider an instance that involves both types of distortion. So it talks about a double-blind study here. Now, I've read this before on another channel, so I want to skip it because I need to get to something else. I need to get to observer bias. So we don't want to distort what happens, which can occur with observer effects, but we also don't want to distort how we see it happening, which introduces the problem of observer bias. Most of us are aware that we may see what we expect to see and perhaps that we want to see rather than what is out there to be seen. Despite this, we often underestimate the danger inherent in observer bias, and we may overlook this factor when we should not. Seeing what we expect to see can lead to distortions that would be funny if there wasn't so dangerous. Here's a story told by James the Amazing Randi, a stage magician and a well-known skeptic. He once appeared in disguise as a guest on a talk show. There he informed his audience that while driving from New Jersey into New York, he had seen a V formation of objects flying towards the north overhead. Within seconds, Randi said the station switchboard lit up like an electronic Christmas tree. One eyewitness after another called in to confirm Randi's sighting, which was purely imaginary. He had made it all up. Nevertheless, observers looked at the skies and saw what they expected to see: the little unidentified flying objects, UFOs, that were not there. Enraged. So, practicing scientists, too, are subject to observer bias. The classical example, no, let me I can't go by that point. So Shar and everybody else listening in the chat, does that make sense to anyone? Danny's stupid. Right? That story that we just went through, right? with this guy. He's a known skeptic. He says he went out to the sky and he saw the sky light up like Christmas trees. Other people went outside to see if they saw the same thing. But he made the whole story up. Is that not what Truth Seeker did? Watch this. Practice of science and tools are subject to observer bias. The classical example is a scientist who has a pet theory and sees events to confirm it. The danger is that the scientist may see events or objects that simply are not there. Like Rondi's made-up UFOs. That this can and does happen is shown by following cautionary tale. So, in 1903, a distinguished physicist, Rene Blundlock, announced a new form of radiation that he discovered, naming that the new rays, N rays, for the University of Nancy, where he taught. The problem was that other scientists could not verify his finding. That's why you gotta love science. Another physicist visited Blundlock's lab, where, sure enough, he could see no evidence of N rays, though Blundlock and his co-workers insisted that they could. Finally, the visitor secretly jiggered the apparatus so that it would not possibly produce any rays at all. But his hosts, not knowing this, continued to see the rays that simply were not there. They saw what they expected to see. Observer bias has been demonstrated many times by direct experiment. In one such experiment, panels of mental health professionals were shown a videotape of a younger man talking to an older man about his feelings and experiences. Some of the clinicians were told that the young man was a patient. Others were told that he was a job applicant. After seeing the videotape, the viewers were asked what they thought about the young man, what kind of person he would be. The videotape was the same for all observers, but the judges' reactions were very different, depending on what they thought they were seeing. Those who saw the job applicant tended to describe him as attractive, candid, innovative, and realistic, but those who thought the young man was a patient saw him as a tight, defensive person, whom they described as frightening or his own aggression impulses. Since the tape was the same, these striking differences can mean only that the judge's observations were biased based on the ideas as to what the patient and job applicants are like, or perhaps how they ought to behave. This, of course, was done as an experiment to demonstrate the effect. Consider, though, that these professionals were seeing a real patient on a daily basis. There's no reason to doubt that the perception of these very real people were similarly affected by preconceptions. For dramatic experimental demonstration of this, you got to go see Rosenhan 1973. Real quick. Hopefully you can understand why I am talking about observer bias, because a lot of times when we're in conversations with people, they have demonstrated consistently and others accidentally observer bias. Let me tie it back, right? You heard A1 talk about he showed, not a coincidence, over and over and over, all of this so-called evidence about Black people being indigenous or native to the Americas. That's his position. He's supporting his bias. And when he shows the images, he shows you pictures of Africans or descendants of Africans, and it's telling you in the images that he's posting that these are African people. Yet and still he is saying that is not the case, and he argues against what he is presenting because he has an observer bias. I am tying all of this back to what we're dealing with when someone says that I'm a bitch ass nigga, or I sound like a bitch, or I'm a sissy, right? I'm all of that. So now I'm about to uncover your whole game plan, Ab Power. Since I know you scheming everybody, you stealing money from them, and you doing this as a hustle, and you spend all day doing it, I ain't got nothing but time today. I'm gonna show you how pseudo you are and how stupid you are and your audience. I don't think that you have many intelligent people that actually view you, bro. At all. Because any intelligent person would clearly see through your bullshit. So now you got to deal with what has been presented today and more. Because we got A1 out of there real quick with his claims. I can get you out of here with your claims. I've been doing that all day. But now I'm about to double down on getting rid of your claims right now. So now that I gave y'all a clear indication of what observer bias is, along with a lot of other pseudoscientific behavior that they demonstrate, as well as expose the fact that it is a cult-like following, and we've been saying that, I put it on the screen for you to come to your own conclusion, right? But I'm telling you how I reach mine. I reach mine under the right pretenses of analyzing what a cult is and all the other things that come around with those behaviors. They are a pseudo-scientific YouTube group, and they're recruiting every day. All right, so there is, let me play his claim again, because I know that when I went on a tangent about other shit, I kind of got y'all off his argument. So I want to bring it back to you. What he said.
And so it's a few things we got to talk about. How many of you guys knew that the ancient Aboriginal Indigenous peoples of America civilized Africa and other parts of the world? But we're going to be talking about Great Mother Africa today. How many of you guys knew that? Okay. Okay, I need y'all to let me know. Everybody that's in the building, though. But we looking light on the lights, though. You know, we got a lot to talk about today. Aboriginal civilized Africa. And so it's a few things we got to talk about. How many of you guys knew that the ancient Aboriginal Indigenous peoples of America civilized Africa and other parts of the world? But we're going to be talking about Great Mother Africa today.
All right. So earlier I had already put forth information that would challenge that point because of the kingdoms and empires that existed all over the continent. And you can go and check the dates that those kingdoms and empires existed, which would put him in total conflict because of the greatness that was already achieved on the continent before any Muslim or European even came into the continent to see it for themselves. And I can show you instances of them even writing about that and saying that, because we do have the chronicles from Muslims, and we do have the chronicles from Europeans, which is a good thing for us, right? So now I want to get back to what else? What I want to bring up right now. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to Levitian real quick. I like Levitian. Levitian's a good guy. Let's use him real quick, just to kind of throw some more Africanness in his. Yeah. Let me share a window. Let me get Levitian on the screen. Let me hide. My email showing. Okay, about that. And then we're gonna come to Ile Ife, right? We're gonna come to Ile Ife in just a second. For those you know what I'm talking about. All right, so real quick, I want to put this on the screen for all of you deniers out there. The name Ghana, the land of gold, was first mentioned by the Arab geographer Al-Vazari towards the end of the 8th century. By then, the kingdom of Ghana had been flourished for some time, perhaps for centuries, though the date of its foundation cannot be fixed with any certainty. Through its trade in gold, the fame of Ghana extended beyond the Sahara, as far as Baghdad, where El-Vazari lived at the court of the Abbasid Caliph. About a century later, in 872, El-Yaqubi counted other kingdoms of Balad al-Sudan. Now, the land of the blacks, or the land of the black people. Everybody should know Balad al-Sudan is the land of blacks, of which Ghana, Gaio, and Canaan were the greatest. So this Arab comes into West Africa, recognizes Ghana, sees that Ghana is handling business. They've been doing big business. They're the land of the gold, right? Then you got him recognizing, you got somebody else recognizing a century later, the kingdoms, other kingdoms in the land of the blacks, which will be Canaan and Gaio at their greatest. All the kingdoms at the early period located close to the desert, or the other kingdoms further south in the savannah. Some records of Arab geography suggest that the people south of the dominions of Ghana were loosely organized and fair game for slave raiding. Also, documentary and traditional evidence indicates a process of state building in which expanded gradually from north to south. Ghana in the Sahel, Mali in the Sudanic savannah, the Mossi, the Gomba states in the Guinea savannah, and the Akan states of the forest, the more southern among these developed later in time. Historians of the colonial period were inclined to attribute the creation of the kingdoms of the Sahel to nomad invaders from the north, of white origin and of higher civilization. Maurice Delafosse postulated a migration of the so-called Judeo-Syrians, who wandered from Libya to Borno or Air, and then westward across the savannah. To these white migrants, whom he regarded also as ancestors of the Fula, Delafosse ascribed the creation of the last two kingdoms, Ghana and Tukar. This and other hypotheses are based on fragmentary and inconclusive evidence and are derived from the now obsolete assumption that the peoples of the Sudan could not develop organized states themselves, just like they did with Egypt. They said, ain't no way these people did this shit, right? But now that is inconclusive. It's fragmented. That hypothesis went to shit. So when Al Power says that the ancient indigenous black aboriginal people of the Americas civilized Africa, you have an Arab coming right here and telling you themselves about another hypothesis where they thought that white people created this shit, that hypothesis was incorrect. So there's no fucking way that a so-called ancient indigenous black aboriginal could civilize a place that he's unfamiliar with, or people that he's unfamiliar with. And I'm gonna say this real slowly to Al Power. What was the trade language of the indigenous aboriginal black people and the West, Central, South, and North Africans? What was the trade language? How was it established? When was it in use? And where did it go in history? Why does it not exist today? I need that evidence. I need that evidence in 48 hours. Actually, 24 hours, because I know you're listening to some of this bill. And if you replay this on your channel, you're officially dead in the water, because I have presented so much information against your whole hypothesis that you so distinguishedly stuck your chest out and tried to push on your people. I don't know how many people it was, but you tried to push it on your people. So now you got to come up with your shit, bro. You need to take that back ASAP. So let me double down on my last one, right? Because I'm hitting the 2-hour mark. Let me double down on my last book source. Okay. Now I told everybody I was gonna come here, right? And let me make it big on the screen. Let me one page it. And I just want to give just a little bit, just a little sample of a history of Yoruba. Since you claiming to civilize Africans. Now the territories of Ife, Ijese, or Wu are regarded in this chapter as the central territories of Yoruba land. The foundation of the main kingdom of Ife country, Ife kingdom, has been dealt with in an earlier chapter. The other considerable kingdom in Ife forest is Ifewara, being gonna kill me, a short distance to the southeast. Ifewara was founded, as would be remembered, probably about 1 century after the foundation of Ife, by a prince, Olejo Agbele, who migrated from Ile Ife after being rejected for the Ife throne. Olejo Agbele came with a large following to a group of old settlements, and these were glad to receive him in their kingdom. His followers and the old settlers then joined hands to give him a proud kingdom, a replica of the one that had rejected him. According to Owu and Ife traditions, the first member of Oduduwa's large family to leave Ife to found a kingdom was Olowu, son of Oduduwa's oldest daughter. His father was a commoner, a priest in Oduduwa's palace. On leaving Ile Ife, he headed roughly westward into the forest, and some distance from Ile Ife, he established in the country of Owu subgroup his kingdom of Owu Ipole. The first location of this kingdom seems to have been somewhat further north of its final location, where it later became famous from about 15th century, about 60 miles west of Ile Ife. In later centuries, other princes from Ife came and established kingdoms in other parts of Owu territory, namely the kingdoms of Obere, Erunmu, Mowo, Okolo, and others. Let me stop. I am only mentioning this to you because I need to know how y'all even got into the land of Ile Ife to civilize the Yoruba. And they are scattered all over the place and have other kingdoms inside of one kingdom. I want to know that. What was the method that was used in order to civilize the Africans? Who did this civilizing? And where was that trade language? I need all of that, bro. There's work that has to be done now because you opened your big mouth, right? Now, how I want to play this. Now, I could take, was it 9 minutes? Hold up. Skittles, you was in this chat too. Skittles here. Well.
Need y'all to support the movement, man. I need y'all to support what's going on, man. We got to take this shit to a whole nother level, which we're going to continue. So shout out to y'all. I want to send my love. to you guys and your family. For those that's listening, hope you're having a beautiful day, a productive day. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to everybody that's in the building. Hey, Patrick Gab, we don't deal with weirdos like Sean, Sissy P. We don't even want to debate him. He's not even in our echelon. He's not even in our echelon. He's mid at best. You know what I'm saying? We don't smoke mids. Make sure y'all support the channel, man.
Remember that? I could deal with that. It's just you popping your collar, right? On your channel, your platform, your safe space, you can say something crazy like that. But next to me, you could never say that. One more time. Next to me, you could never say that. He said fentanyl doesn't come in mids.
Okay, call them onions. Listen, y'all. Hold on. Whoever this other nigga that's cheerleading, bro. I'm not talking.
Yes, we told them to block whole niggas. My snipers got a particular assignment to get fuck niggas out of my chat. And Sean P, you are the definition of that. So
you call, and I'm a fuck nigga. And I'm a bitch and a fuck nigga.
People say their history come from slaves. No shit. Bro. And that's the thing with Black American. You said what? You said that, well, today, but if we look at the record, like the historical record, we don't see that. Why not? Well, I've been asking that question for the Lord. So point me to some albums in the 17, 1800. Just 17, 1800s. Yeah, that's what I mean by the I ain't running from no goddamn body. You created a pseudo argument when you came in. Lex, I didn't create no motherfucking pseudo argument. He made a claim. That is a pseudo argument, though.
that nigga Sean always whining like a bitch. That nigga be whining like a little sissy, dog. Like, that nigga is pathetic. Like, you can do some scholarship and debate, but you be acting like a bitch, dog. Straight up.
Argument is about the Pequot. He made a claim. Where did they come from? Do you understand what a claim is? Once he makes do you understand what pseudo argument is? Do you understand what pseudo argument is? You went to college, you understand what pseudo argument is. This claim is not a pseudo argument, you dumbass nigga. Yes, it is. The argument is about the Pequot Wars and the people from the Pequot going to Barbados. You're not even listening. You ain't listening to shit I just asked. I just repeated what the argument is. The Pequot warriors went to Barbados. No, you're not listening. Right.
So that's Black Lotus and Sean P having a discussion. You know what I'm saying? This nigga be sassy as hell. I'm gonna start calling that nigga Sassy P.
He said that we are the people.
The whole show, he talk shit, right? The whole show. He ain't dealing with what I'm saying. He mad at how I sound. Remove my voice. Well, remove how I sound and deal with what I'm saying. If you don't like the way I talk, that's cool. I don't like the sound of a lot of people. But it's what I'm saying that matters the most. It's like removing the emotions from someone that's delivering it harsh. Are they right? Is this the facts? So 2 hours ago, in 1664, Chief John Forkton led a band of copper-colored renegades on a mission to civilize Africa. The group realized Africa had no monuments, culture, or languages, and wanted to change that. Forkton and crew remained on the west coast of Africa for 50 years as advisors to Mansa Musa and crafted the golden stool made from the Olmec gold for the Akan. Chief John Forkton, ladies and gentlemen. Chief John Forkton. I'm telling you right now to go subscribe to Each One Teach One MBK all day. Shout out to True Storian. Yo, this nigga's nuts, yo. oh, got another one. This got to be Rob Moore right here. The last one was True Story. This one, Rob Moore right here. The Shrine of Ra'at is a new Kemet band of Woke-topians. The shrine disguises themselves by being masters of Kemetic languages as well as the Queen's English. The Ra'atiers were trained in the League of Ivy Temples of Kim Il University. Look at Jabari. Shrine of Ra'at. Yo. Earth, Wind, and Abo were the most successful Aboriginal band in American history. The band was formed in 1973 by members of the Shakashak tribe. Their biggest album, Copper Color Love Parade, was the first record in American history to be #1 on the American and Aboriginal music charts. Ladies and gentlemen, Earth, Wind, and Abo. Copper Color Parade. This nigga's nuts. Last one. Young Dirty Abo is the most notorious identity. Let me zoom in a bit. Notorious identity thief in copper color culture. For over a decade, Dirty Abo has claimed a family connection to the chief ODB of the Shining Clock Nation. He has claimed everything from being the 10th member of Wu-Tang Clan to using the same Big Bag Bethlehem in an attempt to gain funds from Gad, the original tribe of Hebrew Israelites. In 2018, the annual powwow of the Shining Clock's Young Dirty Abo was asked to leave after rushing the speaker's podium to sing a version of Shimmy Shimmy Y'all in the Adalese, aka Pig Latin, invented by the Copper Coloreds. Young Dirty Abo, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I was done, but there's another one. The Dawes Roll Demons were the first Aboriginal football team in America. Formed in the early 1920s, the team was composed of copper-colored Americans who were rejected from the Dawes Rolls. The renegade tribes formed their own football league. The Demons were the first champs of the league in 1923 and won the Clyde Winners Trophy by beating the Pseudoville Seminoles 14-7. Before weather ended the game due to non-stop rain dancing in the cheap cleats. The Dawes Roll Demons, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot make this shit up. Can't make this shit up. So look, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Those of you who came in late, there's a wealth of information and knowledge that's in this particular bill that actually handles business. Like I said, I'm all these names. Now you got to deal with me. And I'm going to keep on keeping on. Now I'm going to expose you. I'm going to treat you like I did all the fake doctors during the pandemic. I can spend 2 years on just exposing you for your pseudoness and all of your bullshit claims, and make you have to answer those questions. Because once I stay on your head, pause long enough, your audience is going to ask you to address the things that I am saying, because I will provide the evidence to refute everything you stand on and ruin your fucking life, you miserable piece of shit. And for Autonomous One, the same shit goes for you. Scary ass nigga. We gave you 9 hours to return to that show. Nah, 9 is capped. When Not a Coincidence asked, it was 4 hours. And it was clear right here on their fact page. 19 facts about African ancestry. The first 2 facts that 2 African Americans founded African ancestry. And it is 100% Black owned. Our very first ancestry customer was Anita Beard. They walk it all the way down with their facts. Fact number 19, AfricanAncestry.com is in the business of being Black. We love Black people. The work we do connecting Black people to Africa is an ancestral imperative. No other genetic ancestry company cares about Black people the way we do, period. So when you on your little show, popping your little collar, running your little mouth, calling me names, saying I sound like this, I sound like that, you sound like a lot of shit. But when you start kicking that bullshit, you need to do us all a favor.
Do me a favor. Shut the fuck up.
And on that note, my nigga, you'll see me in these YouTube streets beating your bullshit in and day out. When I got time to do it, I'm going to do it. Straight up and down. Spears are flying, pseudos are crying. Oh, before I go, I was just advised. I see it in the chat. I cannot end the stream. Until we go back. There is a new one. Oh, I scrolled past this. Okay, yeah, I did. My bad. Oops. All right. So, Rabbi Raz Tazar, is that Tazariot? Is the captain of the Israelite School of Impractical Knowledge. His search to regather the lost tribe of Israelites has taken him to places like Abrina Green, Fort Greene, and the jungle of California. Rabbi Rash Tazar. Shit, man, y'all are crazy, bro. This can't be stopped. This needs to continue. It's crazy, yo. So again, man, peace to everybody out there in the chat. Make sure you go over there to Each One Teach One, subscribe. I need to subscribe on this other YouTube channel I get. And y'all be easy, man. Take care. Enjoy the evening. Catch the replay. All love.